Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne's Sharp World, where today we are taking a look at a brand new knife that just dropped today with titanium, fat carbon, all for $139. It's a pretty darn good knife, and what we're talking about here is none other than the Caviso exclusive Lion Steel Barlow. Now, before I go any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We have an overall length coming in at 6.7 inches, a blade length of just under 3 inches at 2.95 inches, a blade thickness of 100 thousandths, and a blade material, as I said, M390. We have a very nice looking Barlow style blade with a flat grind, a handle length coming in at 3.75 inches, handle thickness at 471 thousandths. Handle material on this particular version is, like I said, titanium and fat carbon, but there are a ton of options. And when I say a ton, I mean like 6 or 7 at least. A couple different types of fat carbon. We have gold dark matter as well as the blue dark matter. I believe there's a micarta version. There's a ram horn version. There is a good amount to choose from, and also with different blade shapes. This is more of kind of like just the typical rounded Barlow blade shape, but then we also have, I believe, some type of clip point and a worn cliff. I believe, are the three options. So really, really good selection to choose from. These guys are coming in right around 2.2 ounces, give or take, depending on material and blade shape. So nice and light, and a price of an extremely reasonable, for this exact version here, $139. Now, I think the prices might vary just a little. I honestly didn't look at every model available, but I think they're all around that $139 price mark, which is a fantastic price for M390, fat carbon, and titanium. And this knife does have some really good things going for it. And we're going to compare it. We are going to compare it to a Jack Wolf knife because that's what a lot of people would think. But first, let's take a look at some size comparisons and see just how this measures up with some other knives that you may know pretty well. Here is the Civivi Elementum. And then we also have here the Bowie Pyrite, but keep in mind this is the exact same length as the regular Wharncliffe Pyrite that everybody knows and loves. So as you can see, obviously a little shorter than the Elementum and significantly shorter than the Bowie Pyrite. And do I have any other little knives to compare it to that would be good? I don't really. I have, we'll throw this out here. I don't think this is going to really help much, but this is the original XL, basically the same length as the Bowie Pyrite. So I think that's pretty much going to do it for size comparisons for us. I think the Elementum is a really good measuring gauge to see just what we have here in terms of overall length. And now let's get to talking about this, because this is, it's a slip joint. So I understand a lot of people are looking for locking knives. I feel like slip joints are definitely for a smaller crowd of the EDC community, but there's still a lot of desire for them by the right people. So if you are a slip joint guy or gal, then I think this is one you could potentially really enjoy. Now, you can't really, I said I'm going to compare this to a Jack Wolf knife, and we will here. Let's bring out, what do I got here? Which one is this? This is the, actually, let me get the other one because there's just too many names, and names escape me. There's a lot. Here's the Sharpshooter Jack. And the real difference between these two knives is the price and the pull, the walk and talk. And now the walk and talk on this Lion Steel Barlow is not bad. It's actually not bad at all. Actually, before we get deep into this comparison, because I do want to make some points about this, but first, let's talk about the blade and kind of just what I think of that. Because this is a very nice looking blade. It's very clean. It's non-threatening. This is like a very friendly, take it anywhere you want. Take it to church, take it to the office, take it to wherever you go, and you don't have to worry about someone getting scared by this little slip joint, especially when you take it out like this. There's just something very unthreatening about a slip joint in general, and especially a slip joint of this aesthetic. So it's a good clean blade. Behind the edge is not bad on this, 20 thousandths. So that is that's really not too bad at all. I know that Italian-made knives have a history of thickness behind the edge, too thick behind the edge. This really isn't that bad, especially when we're looking at a stock thickness of just 100 thousandths. You know, it's a relatively thin blade stock and a nice edge at 20 thousandths, so I don't really have any issue with that. The fuller on this blade also makes it very easy for the pull, and you don't need to get your nails in there. You can just get it with your fingertips, and you really feel the edge of that fuller. Makes it very easy to just pull that blade right out. The handle is very simple and a slender handle, so it feels pretty good in hand. To some people, it may feel a little more slender than you would normally prefer for a knife, but again, I feel like a lot of slip joints always do feel a little more slender, a little more narrow in hand because there's no clip, and that clip takes up a little space in your palm. So it always feels just a little flatter to me. And the titanium, the materials in general, the titanium and fat carbon, that's always a good option. I don't think I've ever seen a knife with titanium and fat carbon, and I thought, ooh, I would rather that be my Carta or G10 or something else. It's like, no, I want all the titanium and fat carbon, and this is just a really, really good fit and finish on this fat carbon, as well as the titanium, and I really like the bevel they did here at the transition line. As you can see, there's a bevel on the titanium and a bevel on the fat carbon to make kind of a little V shape there if you look at it from the side. And what that does is it makes it very easy to have a good looking fit and finish on this without having to be absolutely perfect on the transition line, because that can be really hard to do regardless of where it's being made, whether it's America, China, Italy, and it also gives us kind of a nice little modern touch for that little bevel there. So I do like the bevel, and again, I like the fit and finish on the carbon fiber. No flaws, no pitting, nothing like that. Very, very nice and smooth, good looking carbon fiber, and overall a really nice handle. Now the action. The action is where we really want to bring the Jack Wolf back into play here. And I'm not saying that one is better than the other. Do I prefer the action of the Jack Wolf a little more? I do. I honestly do. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But Jack Wolf does have a rather stiff pull. I like that. A lot of people like that. But a lot of other people would prefer just the normal strength pull, something that you're used to, especially if you're someone that collects slip joints. You may very well be one of those people that are like, you know what? I like just the average pull. And this still has a pretty good amount of resistance too on the strength of this little back spring here that holds the blade up. I mean, can I push it in? Yes, but it has some good resistance, and anyone that knows how to use a slip joint properly is never going to be pushing like this with a blade. You just don't do that with a slip joint. If you're going to do something like that, you get a locking knife. But having your thumb back here is completely safe. And again, nice long handle makes it easy to hold this in hand without having to put so much pressure to where you will accidentally push the blade in. It's a really nice design, a really, really good blade, and I think it has a really good amount of tension and really good walk and talk. It's obviously very different from a Jack Wolf knife. You really can't compare the two, but you kind of can compare them. You just can't expect this to be the same as a Jack Wolf, because a Jack Wolf was just very, very different. It's its own type of breed. This is more of your traditional modern type of slip joint, and I think that's going to come off very well to a lot of people, especially the price. I mean, you know, Jack Wolf knives are $250 plus. This is $139 with excellent materials. So this is a fantastic offering, I think. And if anyone is into slip joints and wants the premium materials, but more of kind of like a modern classic design, like this is an excellent, excellent option. One of the best options out there right now, actually. So get them while you can. If you're looking for a slip joint like that and you want premium materials at a not so premium price, $139 is good to go on this one for me, and this is good to go in general. I like this one. I'm a big fan of Lion Steel in general. I think they do a really good job, and this is about as clean and classy as they come for a slip joint. So, like I said before, there are a good amount of options for this knife right here. Hop on down the link below, check them out. Let me know what you guys think of this. Really hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and until the next one, I'm out.